This is the top 10. The top 10 reasons you're an audiophile. I know you people. You are audiophiles. Before you say you're not an audiophile, I want you to consider these reasons that I'm going to lay out for you right now. We'll start with number 10. Number 10 is you like music and you like gear to some balance. The proportions of music appreciation to gear appreciation vary from one audiophile to the next, but it is fundamental to you becoming an audiophile. Number 9 is a logical extension of that before you were an audiophile, you were unhappy with the sound of your music, right? You wanted it to sound better. Bingo! You're an audiophile. That's kind of, again, it's fundamental to why you would even do this, right? Your speakers, your headphone, amplifier, cables, whatever it was that you had in your system in your pre-audiophile life wasn't cutting it. You said words to the effect, I want a better thing, better whole system even. That's when you crossed over into that zone, the twilight zone of being an audiophile. Number 8, you, if you're old enough, you were reading magazines, right? You were reading magazines forever, right? You're reading Stereophile and the Absolute Sound, or if you're really old, Stereo Review and High Fidelity and audio magazines, or whatever those magazines were in your corner of the universe. You were reading about the stuff, the gear, and usually those magazines do have music in them occasionally. So you were into it by the quest. You were curious enough to read those magazines, and that, for most people, would lead to them buying a better thing. And again, that counts as a bingo. That's a bullseye. You're an audiophile. Number 7, the aesthetics of audio. How does it look? How does it fit into your life, your lifestyle, your house? Now, I know a lot of you guys aren't particularly the neatest people. I mean, look at me, right? But it still counts. How it looks, how it feels to your hand, how it graces the wall or something in your house. Its wall power, so to speak, in your house or apartment is a part of it. Looks count. And people who deny it, I think they're kidding themselves, because to some degree. Now, I've owned gear that I didn't like the way it looked because I thought it sounded good, but it was a constant source of irritation, so eventually I had to get rid of it. Number 6, your father, your uncle, your cousin, your coworker exposed you to better quality audio, and you had to have that. You had to have that in your life. You had to own it. You had to possess it. And it jumps from one person to the other. That's a common way into the audiophile life. It's by close proximity to people who have nice audio. You see it and you go, yeah, I want some of that. Number 5, you are a frustrated musician. I am a frustrated musician. I want to be a musician for various points in my life. I wanted to play, and I just never found an instrument. I just never had the talent. I never had what it takes to be at all remotely good as a musician. I hung out with musicians. That was good. By proximity, that was nice. But seriously, I couldn't play, but I could play a turntable pretty well. I could play a CD player or files, whatever. So I get some tiny bit of inkling of what it's like to play music. It's a stretch, I admit it, but frustrated musicians, that's definitely one of the ways. Number 4, you're a musician, but you want to hear your own recordings sound as good as they can, or your heroes, your mentors, you want to hear other people's, dead people sometimes, recordings sound as good as they can, to communicate with you, you get it, you feel it more completely through a better system. So though you can play on your own, you are a musician, you still want to hear recorded music sound as good as you can. Now, I did a video, a couple of videos actually, with my friend Billy Drummond, who is a drummer, and he is an audiophile, and I went to his house in New Jersey, and he had a system in every room of his house, and I don't mean like just a radio, I mean he had a full-fledged audio system in every room in his house except the bathroom, but his kitchen had a system. And by the way, most every room in his house has a drum kit. So it has a drum kit and an audio system in pretty much everywhere you look. There's more and more audio. And I will link to those videos that I did with Billy. So yes, you could be a musician or not, and it's weird that not every musician wants to be an audiophile, which always kind of confused me to whatever degree was possible. Many musicians are completely not interested, but that's a video for another day. Number 3, you are fascinated by the technology. How does this stuff, this collection of boxes, make music happen, to bring it to life? How is that possible? How can a vinyl record with a groove etched into it, how could that possibly create so much, not 100%, so much the sound of an orchestra or a jazz group or a hip hop, whatever? It doesn't look possible, right? You look at a record, you hold it in your hand, you go, how does that contain all of that music? Or you look at a CD or a file on your computer, how does those zeros and ones create so much music that's so impactful, real, and visceral, and then it moves you? How does that work? How does a speaker with a vibrating membrane, how does that create so much realism? How does an amplifier, it's just a box with power going into it, how does that create music, or let's say release music from its recorded state into a physical, air-moving state? That is incredible, and I think for some audiophiles that is a part of it. It's a foundational part of why you would be an audiophile. Just, you want to know. It's not even that you need to fully understand it. You just are endlessly fascinated by it, and that would be me. Number 2, you have collected a lifetime of music. Let's say, if you're old enough, physical music. LPs, CDs, 8-track tapes, cassettes, Edison cylinders. You have a lot of physical music that you've bought over your lifetime. Now, of course, some of it doesn't make it all the way through the journey because you lose it, you're divorced, got lost in shipping, or you just lose interest in some of it. It's not all there. But the part that you stay with, the part that's that important that you keep it no matter what, that makes you an audiophile. Now, of course, you could just be a music lover too, right? But you don't need to have all that physical stuff to play music. Those LPs, CDs, tapes, and everything, they're not necessary to just play music. They have their own reason for existing in your life because you like that physical connection to the music. When you bought that LP or CD or tape or whatever, it might be meaningful to you. It is to me, and that's why I keep as much of it as I can. A music that I still care about. I keep pretty much everything that I care about. That was number 2, and now we are at number 1. Drum roll, please. You love music. You love it so much. You want to bring it to life as best as you can within your budget and your constraints of your room acoustics, etc., etc. You'll go very far to make that music sound better and better and better, right? That makes you an audiophile, 1,000% in my book, right? That's it. What is other than all the other things I just said? What else is there? What other reasons can you be an audiophile? Please share them in the comments. Please do that. If you don't like the word audiophile, if you're uncomfortable with that word, I don't know. Okay, it's kind of nerdy. Yeah, okay, it's kind of nerdy. So what? Who cares? I can't, believe me, I've tried to come up with a better word, and I can't. You could say I'm an aficionado or something. Well, that's kind of pompous. Now, if you're a music lover, that's great. That's fantastic. If you're a music lover, but you have a $2,000 hi-fi, or a $20,000 hi-fi, or a $500 hi-fi, you don't need the stuff if you're just a music lover, right? You could have Sonos, or you could have a $10 Bluetooth speaker and listen to the music. But if you care about the music, you're an audiophile. Did I miss something? I don't think so. Anyway, oh, this shirt that I'm wearing today comes from the Ashanti Fields collection. Now, this is an African shirt, and from time to time you see me wearing African shirts, and they all come from the same place, the Ashanti Fields collection, which I will link to their Etsy site below. But this isn't a commercial. I pay for these shirts. I used to buy them in street fairs in Brooklyn, and now that's not going to happen, so I bought this one and another one from their Etsy site. And I just like them. And they don't just have shirts at Ashanti Fields. They have all sorts of African-themed products that are really, really beautiful. So for you people who are asking about the shirts, now you know where at least the African shirts come from. So check that off the to-do list. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show, right now coming to you 4 days a week. If you dig it, you know what I'm going to say. Please subscribe. If you have already subscribed, thank you so much for doing that. While you're here, you could check out the playlist for speaker reviews, headphone reviews, amplifier reviews, electronics reviews, all kinds of cool stuff. Tons and tons and tons of interviews coming up on like 950 or so episodes, all here on this channel. But you could also check out my Patreon at patreon.com/audiophiliac, and I will link to that in the description. Now I'm done. I truly am finished, fini for today, so I hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.